Does it really get bigger than the Super Bowl? I don't think so.
Snap ball down, kick up, kick is on the way, and it is good! It's good!
You've never truly lived until you feel the exhilarating rush of watching a Super Bowl game.
Throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown!
And with close to 6 Super Bowls played, there have been plenty of moments live rent-free in the heads of die-hard NFL fans. And here are the greatest.
You ready?
Kansas City Drive. When you're talking about the greatest ever Super Bowl moments, you don't have to look too far because Super Bowl 58 had everyone in the Allegiant Stadium biting their fingernails. The 49ers and Chiefs were tied at 19 all after 4 quarters of incredible football. Hey, there's a reason why this was the most viewed Super Bowl yet. Early in overtime, the 49ers scored a field goal, giving them the lead, and they were a couple of minutes away from their first Super Bowl victory in 30 years. But Patrick Mahomes and the defending champions, the Chiefs, had other plans. In 13 plays, they were able to edge 75 yards, and before they knew it, the only thing that stood between them and another Super Bowl title was 3 yards 6 seconds and 11 49ers defensemen. So when Patrick Mahomes received the snap, he knew one mistake meant the game was over. 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left, and then this happened.
First and goal. Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman!
Mecole Hardman received the pass for touchdown, and it was celebration all over Kansas after that. Talk about leaving it to the last minute. I'm sure a few Chiefs fans passed out during the play, and as for the 49ers, you just know the locker room looked a little something like this. While Mahomes and the Chiefs left it to the last minute to turn up, some people like to turn up early. Devin Hester returns touchdown Super Bowl 41. And by some people, I'm talking about Devin Hester. Back in 2007, Super Bowl 41 was a face-off between the Indianapolis Colts and the Chicago Bears, and as much as the Colts were the favorite with a charismatic quarterback in Peyton Manning. But that didn't deter the Bears from fancying their chances. After all, the first time they went to the Super Bowl, they won it. And they had a chance to make it 2 for 2 when the game started. It looked like things were going to end that way after the Bears were set to receive the ball at kickoff. But when the ball fell in the hands of Bears return specialist Devin Hester, he did something that was never seen in Super Bowl history.
And the Colts have had a hard time all season covering kicks. It gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
14 seconds and 92 yards were all it took for the Bears to take the earliest lead in Super Bowl history. The quarter ended 14-6 in favor of the Bears, but the Colts knew that their opponents may have been underdogs, seeing them as so might cost them the Super Bowl. So they were like,
I understand it. I understand it now.
And locked in to win the next 3 quarters and the Super Bowl. If Hester had saved his run for some fourth quarter spectacle, things might have gone differently. Everyone knows you don't pull out the big guns from the get-go. But there is something you should have done from the get-go, and that's hitting the subscribe button and turning on post notifications so you don't miss out on any of our videos. Malcolm Butler's interception of Super Bowl 49. Speaking of underdogs, any team that faces the New England Patriots is considered one. They've won 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowls they appeared in. It's a testament to their dominance and Tom Brady's awesomeness, but back in 2014, it didn't exactly seem that way. In Super Bowl 49, they were barely 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and the Seahawks were literally 5 yards away from the Patriots' end zone. Scared and vulnerable aren't 2 words you would normally use to describe the Patriots, but in those moments, they sure looked like that. If they conceded this touchdown, it most certainly meant an L. But this happened.
Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. You've got a guy that's been borderline unstoppable.
It wasn't Tom Brady or Gronkowski who saved the day, but Malcolm Butler with this interception. You know, an interception has won the game when it gets celebrated more than a touchdown. And as for the Seahawks, the quest for the second Super Bowl continues. Maybe next time try to reach a Super Bowl when the team with the most doesn't. The only other time they lost a Super Bowl was against the Pittsburgh Steelers back in 2006, 3 years before this next unforgettable moment. Santonio Holmes, toe-tap TD Super Bowl 43.
Throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown.
That's how the Steelers won Super Bowl 43 in literally the last minute of the game. Santonio Holmes was on his tippy toes for that touchdown. As incredible as the catch was, the build-up to it was just as cinematic. Before the Steelers had lined up on just before the 5-yard line, Holmes had a chat with his quarterback Roethlisberger that he should look for him, that he was going to win this game for them. So when this snap happened, Ben was looking for one person and one person only. So when the ball left his hand in an attempt to make a pass, history was being made in real time. But not all Super Bowl deciders are touchdowns. Some have a kick to it. Adam Vinatieri's winning field goal, Super Bowl 36. Adam Vinatieri might have been playing the wrong football because although he had a Hall of Fame career, a big part of it were his game-winning field goals. He has 27 to his name, but none of them were as important as this one.
Ball down, kick up, kick is on the way, and it is good!
This was the kick that won the New England Patriots their first ever Super Bowl over 20 years ago. Tom Brady was just in his sophomore season, and Vinatieri was entering veteran status. This wasn't just one of the greatest Super Bowl moments, it was the start of the Patriots dynasty and a moment that would lead to other great Super Bowl moments. While you might say the field goal was likely given Vinatieri's record, nobody saw this kick coming in Super Bowl 44. Saints surprise on-site kick Super Bowl 44. By the end of the first half of Super Bowl 44, the New Orleans Saints were trailing the Indianapolis Colts by 4 points. So when the second half started, the Saints started it with a bang.
Into the football, and it's an onside kick. And it's going to be covered up by Chris Reese.
An onside kick before the fourth quarter? This was a Super Bowl first. No one saw this coming, not even the Colts. And with the Saints retaining possession, the offensive team took to the field and scored a touchdown, giving the Saints a much-needed lead. Saints coach Sean Payton knew it was a risky move, one which he had learned from his mentor Bill Purcell. And by the end of the fourth quarter, the Saints were glad they took their chances with this move as it won them their first and only Super Bowl so far in their first appearance. Talk about history-making decisions. But not all decisions that win or lose the Super Bowl are made on the field. Some happen in the front office. Super Bowl 27, the Gruden Bowl. When Al Davis took his word back on an agreement he made with John Gruden in 2001 surrounding a contract extension, Gruden knew he couldn't stay in Oakland despite all his good intentions. And that's when Tampa Bay came calling. But Gruden's story with the Raiders wasn't done yet, as he would lead the Bucs against them in the 2003 Super Bowl 38. Do you know what it's like having your wife and your ex-wife in the same room? It's very, very awkward, and that's exactly how John Gruden felt. And like a good soap opera, it was John Gruden's Tampa Bay who finished the game victorious and having won their first ever Super Bowl in franchise history.
At age 39, Gruden became the youngest head coach to win a Super Bowl.
Sometimes the real Super Bowl is in the memories we make doing the impossible. As much as it really hurt the Raiders seeing their former coach win a Super Bowl on their heads, they had understood he was just doing their job. But some people, like Raiders receiver, believed that the Buccaneers' victory was far too convincing, and he felt his coach Bill Callahan threw the game. But maybe Al Davis should have thought twice about letting Gruden go. 2008, Super Bowl 40, David Tyrese helmet catch. Aside a veteran coach, another thing you don't want to let go of is the ball. Just ask Giants receiver David Tyrese, who literally had his team's fate in his hand, or should I say on his helmet.
Stays on his feet, airs it out down the field.
While the Patriots were doing everything to keep the Giants at bay, 3 plays later, Manning found Steve Smith to convert a 3rd and 11, and on the play after that, he connected with Plaxico Burress for the 13-yard touchdown catch that gave the Giants the 17-14 lead. And with barely any seconds left, there was little Tom Brady could do about it, and this makes you wonder how would things have been different if Tom Brady had more time. Well, Super Bowl 51 gives us the answer. Super Bowl 51, Patriots comeback. As much as a video of the greatest Super Bowl moments has to feature Tom Brady in one of them, I didn't specify which side of greatness he would be on because this moment of greatness was about shaming the GOAT. Super Bowl 51 is by far one of the greatest Super Bowls in history. It had everything: a coin toss by the former President of the United States, a Lady Gaga performance by halftime. This was a Super Bowl not many people were gonna forget. The Falcons were facing a Tom Brady team that were favorites, but somehow they were in the lead 28-7 by halftime. Surely they had it in the bag. But come on, everyone should know that having Tom Brady is a cheat code, because although the Falcons edged past the Patriots in the 3rd quarter, the Patriots scored 19 points in the 4th quarter to force overtime, the first overtime in Super Bowl history. The Falcons failing to score in the 4th quarter showed that they had botched their lead and they were outplayed in overtime. No other Super Bowl had seen such a large comeback before, and that's what made it great. But what the Falcons couldn't do in Super Bowl 51, the Eagles did in Super Bowl 52. But how? 2018 Philly Special. Few teams have ever been able to beat the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl, and they have a lot of haters for that reason. But the last team to do that was the Philadelphia Eagles, and it was all thanks to the Philly Special. No, it's not some extra special cheesesteak or something. It's the gameplay that won them the Super Bowl, and perhaps one of the greatest ever. But this desperate move was only pulled because the Eagles were in a desperate situation.
And they're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught.
On the play, quarterback Nick Foles moved up behind this offensive line, and Jason Case snapped the ball directly to running back Corey Clement. Clement pitched the ball to Trey Burton, who passed it to a wide-open Foles for a touchdown. And this play was so great that it was all everyone was talking about after the Eagles' Super Bowl victory. Which Super Bowl moment do you think was the greatest, and is there any moment you feel we should have included in the video? Let us know in the comments section. If you want us to continue making videos like this, hit the like button and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our new uploads. And do you think we might get an all-time great Super Bowl moment in 2025? Well, we already know that we're getting the halftime show of the century with Kendrick Lamar.